Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L, and right now I kinda just want to talk to you about the new Sword Art series that's going on, Sword Art Online Alternative. I just had a lot of fun with the episode. I finished watching it, I think 2 days ago from when I've uploaded this video, and Kara and I just really liked it. So I just kind of want to talk to you guys about it, just give my impressions, and yeah, go for them there. So, you know, Sword Art has a really messy legacy. It is not one of the critical favorites here on YouTube, whatever, who cares, but yeah, usually Sword Art is something that's tied to some other questions of what you like as anime, what do you like as quality, what do you discern to be high quality, whatever else, blah 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 blah. Really, my personal opinion on it, like, Sword Art was good at doing what it wanted to do in this first season. It was good at setting up the idea of, oh my god, these kids might actually die and they're playing a video game. Mind you, like, Sword Art really, I think at the end of the day, is a fantasy series, but that's for another conversation. Anyway, Sword Art has a place in my heart because it's one of the series that my friends who aren't anime fans got into, and I could like watch with them. And it's always going to be fun when you have like 6 people sitting around a giant TV with pizza watching kids try and survive in a video game. That's always going to have an appeal to me that I'm always going to appreciate Sword Art for. So that's one reason that I came into Sword Art. The other thing that really got my curiosity piqued was that it was being called Sword Art Alternative. So that sounded pretty interesting, and I looked at the synopsis and it was like, it's not going to be focusing on Kirito. So I was just thinking, okay, that sounds pretty awesome. And what I ultimately got in this episode was freaking amazing, right? Because, like, again, the thing that was so great about Sword Art was its premise was easy to understand, and its premise was cool. Kids go into a video game and they get stuck in there. And now they might die if they lose in the video game, but they can otherwise play the video game as a video game. So that premise had novelty. Mind you, go into the second season and even the casual fans go like, okay, this is a bit too weird, like they can't really do much. But when you go back to Gun Gale or Sword Art Online Alternative, what they've done is they embrace the world of Sword Art Online, the idea that you can go into these video games that feel this lifelike. I'm really into that. That's cool. That's, you know, it's, as a concept, it's pretty okay. It's a pretty entertaining concept. So I'm stepping into Alternative, and when you get in this first episode, guys, this first episode is just our 2 main characters playing a regular match of a game, and they're just going through it, just showcasing how complex this game is, how the various types of players that could show up in this game, and they're just trying to win. Man, that's fine with me. Look, Sword Art had this habit of making things more important than they were. Sword Art had this habit of making video games more important than they should have been. Sword Art had a habit of making the video games have some big ramification for the real world. Right? That was Sword Art's thing. That's the main group's thing, along with Kirito being just a master at everything. But here in this episode of Alternative, we have a pretty rooted, pretty down-to-earth just sequence of events. It's just people playing a game. I think if Alternative stays this way, it's just about people playing the game, I think this could be fine, because what it did in this first episode, it sold the premise of, hey, you're gonna watch some guys play a shooter, except this shooter is virtual reality, so you're gonna see like some cooler maneuvers here, and you're gonna like enjoy it. If they can consistently keep this up and, you know, keep the angst to a minimum, like, you can have the angst in the character plot lines, but, you know, if you keep it to a minimum and just enjoy the technicalities of the game and just the struggle of trying to be the best team in a game, I think that will be fine. We don't need to involve the world. We don't need to involve any bigger than life type of plot. Just have it grounded in people playing a video game and doing shit with it, alright? I think that would be amazing. And this first episode of this thing, if anything, sells me on that, alright? They can do it. This was engaging. This was fun to watch. Like the reveal when the girl jumps out of the suitcase. That was pretty cool, alright? I'm totally into it. If we take over a look to the characters, like from the synopsis, from what I understood, we know that the main character is this small girl in the show, and she's in the game, and she's a tall lady in actual real life. And we also find out that she might potentially be a teacher because she has little girls looking up to her. So, oh my god, a responsible adult role model? Say it ain't so. Wow. But yeah, so we have that going on. You know, when it comes to the characters, we have we have our guy M, who is clearly more knowledgeable, and we have Lane, again, who is not that great at shooters, or at least, like, on first glance isn't that great because she doesn't know the strategy very well, but she has other aspects that are really unique to her, and she's a tactical nightmare, but hey, if you have M behind her, she can be used to her full potential. Overall with the characters, like, they only really focused on these two characters, but the dynamic between them is pretty cool. You have, it's a simple dynamic. You have a compare and contrast type of thing. Lane I think that's her name, right? Yeah, Lane. Okay, you know what, guys? I'm gonna say Lane, but I might be mispronouncing it. Just let me know down below, and I hope you don't get Pink Girl. We'll call her Pink Girl. Pinkie. Anyway, Pinkie. Yeah, Pinkie is, her personality is reflected in her outfit. Everyone can see that she's moving around the battlefield. She's a tactical nightmare, and M is much more subdued with his colors, and that leads to his more serious type demeanor. Pinkie has some really good skills when it comes to like high-speed maneuvers, such that people look at her and see her as something that's not really attainable in the real world, and we'll talk about that because that was a pretty cool idea. And then we have M, who is super knowledgeable about everything. We see that his levels of recognition within this game, that he can recognize the sounds, or he recognizes the guns based on the sounds. He's been playing this game for a long time, so we have an expert and we have a girl that can be used to ridiculous degree if they know how to maneuver her. So I like the dynamic. Pinkie doesn't need to be super competent by herself. It's okay, she can have her flaws. M doesn't need to be like super fast as her, because he can just maneuver her and up his own strengths. So I like the dynamic. It's a pretty simple one bright character versus one serious character, and then just putting them together to work together. Ultimately, I'm really into it. And man, yeah, you know, touching back on the story or the premise for the first episode, like, we only saw them take down one real team. Like, this whole episode was just them like dealing with this one really super expert level team, and I really like the team here because they. If you hear something in the background, it's my roommate talking, but yeah, they come into this game, and the biggest thing that we can take away from them is that people are using virtual reality to do real live training, and that's pretty smart, right? Like, because virtual reality, like, you do get to use your senses to some degree, you do get to work out your judgment to some degree, and when you have an expansive game like Gun Gale Online, you can definitely, you know, you can get some value out of that. Like, heck, even in like the real world, we have people using flight simulators, right? Like, I know that's not a good, it's not a good example, it's not an apple to apple comparison, but it's just like to show you like the proof of concept. Simulations can be used in military outfits, right? One of the things that I really liked from having this team there, though, is that they make the distinction that if you are carrying skills from your real life, you can do some pretty cool things within the game since it's a virtual reality based experience. And the example here is that they can do some maneuvers like rappelling faster than usual because they're not using the game mechanics. I believe they're using experience mechanics. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I like that distinction. On the flip side, you have Pinkie, who is using speed that the combat professionals have determined isn't really human. Right, so at that point I'm thinking, okay, might that be like the game mechanics? Is that where she's using the game mechanics to her advantage? Because then it makes sense, right? You see at the end that they just kind of surrender because it's like, oh right, there's no real point of dealing with this because this person was an irregular target. Guys, we're not going to see her in real life, so we don't have to worry about someone like her. And so they resign. I like that, right? Because like, that just kind of shifted the focus into like what this is all about. It's not about winning or losing. Those guys came in there with a very different goal. That was to get some kind of combat experience, whereas Lane and M just came in there to win a match, right? I like it. Keep it down to earth, keep it good, and I think the majority of people will enjoy it. Now, if you haven't realized from how it sounds, I have not done any extra research into the material. I do not know who did this. I do not know who wrote this. I don't know if it is originally a spin-off novel or if it's a spin-off manga series. If you guys wanna just let me know anything about that, go down below. If you recommend anything, also, like, I always welcome any recommendations that you guys may have for understanding the series. From what I understand, and given the way that they're putting focus on Pinkie and her character's quirks and what the character is self-conscious about, I could see that there could be like some real life issues playing into it. Again, I ask for minimal angst. I don't, you know, it's just angst tends to be annoying when it's overdone, and Sword Art doesn't have a good track record for angst, especially with that second half of the first season. Anyway, enough of that. Overall, I really like this episode. I really enjoy it. Guys, do you want it covered on the channel? Let me know down below. I'm trying to decide what to cover, because I think from this season we've lost 2 series, Overlord and Death March. And I'm just trying to decide if I should take up 2 more series or just kind of leave it at where we are. Hero Academia doesn't count. That one's already going to be covered because people like it. But there's still 2 more series that I'm cool with bringing on. And so if you guys want this one covered, let me know down below. Anyway, guys, till next time, I hope you have an absolutely great day.